a yes or no, or in terms of approaching that.
Just what have you seen work the most?
Well, we're recommending the residential as part of a mixed-use development. Okay, so we're not saying, bring in, just residential. We're saying it's part of that bigger thing. And so the retail that's part of that would be a critical consideration in terms of what makes sense. And when I say there's a sequence here, it doesn't mean that we're ignoring everything else and just looking at destination restaurants at the beginning. And destination restaurants are critical. There's other things that will be done simultaneously. There's a lot of this that will go on at the same time. The other thing to keep in mind is it takes a long time for some of these types of things to come into play. If you're talking about a restaurant coming into town, that can happen pretty quickly from a lot of points of view. And I think Bart can relate also. If you're talking about having a huge residential mixed-use development come in, there's a whole planning process, approval process that they have to go through at that point. So even if like from day one they want to come in, they're not going to be here immediately. It's going to take a while. So all these other things have to be looked at simultaneously. I think it's fair to say, though, that we're not looking at the whole notion of bringing additional people as residents into town necessarily up front to then have these other things happen, but more to have certain types of retail come in that will help attract residents at that point. So if that perhaps answers your question, it's looking at some of these attractors first, and then residents after that. But it does, and I don't mean one is on day one and one is in year 5.
I know what you're saying in terms of it takes a long time to sort of whatever was.